This is Paul Glumaz with the Larouche Political Action Committee, and we are appearing on General Welfare Presents, which is aired on Seattle Community Media. Today is the 14th of December, and this is our report on the strategic situation following more than a month since the results of the election in the United States. Now, we're seeing a most incredible process going on. The president-elect is coming under massive attack. His legitimacy is being challenged. The legitimacy of the election is being challenged by the Obama administration. And they're unleashing a wave of hysteria, claiming that it was the Russians who interfered in the election, either by hacking people's email accounts or through other interventions. This is absolutely incredible that this is going on. That the entire media of the United States, the entire Congress of the United States, the Obama administration has brought in the CIA, and they're riveting their entire dialogue, the entire narrative over the intervention of Russia into the U.S. elections. Now, this is totally insane. This is totally bizarre. I mean, it's incredible. And the why is this going on? Why is this happening? And it's happening because at the point that the United States and Russia sit down and have a discussion about what is in the interest of the United States, what is in the interest of Russia, what do they have in common that they could work together on, that is when the power that runs this world financial system, that is when the power that runs the world, the globally extended British Empire, which includes the Obama crowd, that is when it's over. Because once you have Russia and the United States saying, okay, we don't want these terrorists anymore, okay, we don't want to have our children destroyed by the massive increasing drug epidemic. Okay, we can do something about that. We want development. Okay, what do you want? You want jobs for your people. You want a future for your people. Oh yeah, we want the same thing. Yeah, we want the future for Russians too. So, why do we have to go to war with each other? I mean, why can't we live in a world where there isn't an empire? Where, Russia's Russia, the United States is the United States, China's China, and other countries are other countries, and we arrange our relations between each other on the basis of what's going to benefit the people of our nation. What's so radical? What's so horrible or terrifying about that? And you have these two nut jobs in the Senate, John McCain and Lindsey Graham. I mean, they're just going out like rah, 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 all over the place, like Russia, Russia's our enemy. Russia's our enemy. Well, hell, Russia's not our enemy. Russia isn't running drugs into this country. Russia isn't running terrorism internationally. Russia's not our enemy. So why are we doing this? Why is this happening? Because at the point that occurs, there is no more empire. There's just United States, there's Russia, there's China, there's India, and there's all these other countries. But there's no empire. There's no one against another, constant warfare, constant terrorism. There isn't that. That's gone. And If the Trump administration decides to do that, well, they must be Nazis. They must be white supremacists. They must be anti-gay. They must be anti-this. They must be anti-that. They must be intolerant. They must be against the environment. Just because they're going to sit down and have development. I mean, that's the narrative, right? That's what's going on right now. You know, that makes you a Nazi. That makes you an anti-Semite. That makes you, we want economic development. We want Russia to develop. We want the United States to develop. Yeah, sure. So that's what's going on. So this whole thing with Russia now, the CIA. So Obama has brought the CIA in to find a, to investigate. Now, Intelligence Veterans for Sanity, headed by Ray McGovern, is saying, look, if somebody hacks your computer, there is a trace. If you can't find a trace and you can't identify the hacker or have it, trace it back, then you weren't hacked. These emails weren't hacked. If you can't find, they were leaked. Somebody went in and copied these emails onto a file and leaked it. That's not hacking. That's leaking. And you can't have hackers from the outside come in and hack a leak. It has to be people from the inside. And that's the most likely case for all of these emails. And even WikiLeaks is saying that. Julian Assange is saying that. Okay, so what's going on here? Well, there's a total meltdown. And so now the intelligence agency head, Clapper, he's not coming out. He's not saying anything. Why? But 3 of his associates are coming out saying, well, we really don't have the evidence. So these lies, these are lies. And it's gone totally nuts. and then what does Trump do? He appoints a Secretary of State. A nominee is going to be Rex Tillerson. And everybody goes berserk. Oh, he's a friend of Putin. He got an award in 2013 from Putin. Oh, he's a businessman. He has no diplomatic skills. Blah 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 blah. Well, let me tell you something about the State Department. All these people in the State Department, the upper echelon of the State Department, they all went to Harvard or Princeton or Columbia or Georgetown. They all took studies. They all studied, how to destroy Russia, how to destroy China, how to destroy all these countries. They are an elite. They have a groupthink. So we have a Secretary of State designee who is not part of this group of groupthink, and it's totally infested our State Department. We have somebody being appointed who's not part of that. Can you realize what that means? This is a person who's had incredible experience around the world in business with governments as the head of ExxonMobil. He's very respected outside the United States. And U.S. credibility has been destroyed. I don't know if people realize this, but we're fighting terrorism, but we're backing the terrorism. We're destroying countries, and you don't think people are upset about that? You don't think people are, everybody we promise anything to, we stab them in the back. Every nation we stab in the back. You think those countries and the people in those countries are happy about all of that? anything Obama says or anything this administration has said at this point, is not taken as reliable. Everyone in the world knows that the Obama administration is one lying piece of crap. The United States obviously provided the weapons for the retaking of Palmyra by ISIS. Yet we're at war with ISIS. No, we're not at war with ISIS. We're at war against the human race on behalf of this empire, which is going down now. It is going down. Putin will be meeting with the Japanese prime minister this weekend. The Japanese prime minister realizes that the world has changed and that the future lies in the collaboration with Russia and China in the One Belt, One Road. And guess who also is saying that we should collaborate with China in the One Belt, One Road? Henry Kissinger. Whoa. And guess who we are told was supporting the nomination of Tillerson? Condoleezza Rice. Robert Gates. Whoa. What's going on here? How do you explain this? That you have this incredible psychotic response. Well, it's because not everybody wants to go to war with Russia, and not everybody wants to die in a nuclear war. And the institutions of the United States have got to make a choice. The British Empire is going to go down. This global financial system is going to go down. The whole system of carbon taxing and population reduction and radical ecology, all of that's going to go down. Do you want to go down with it, or do you want to rescue the United States? So we have a United States. That's the issue. There is no in between. You can't be both at once anymore. You have to make a decision. Which one are you with? Are you going to go with a different policy, which involves the survival of the United States, which involves the United States working with other nations? Or are you going to go down in flames with a war, World War III, and a total disintegration of humanity? You have to make a choice. And Obama has agreed to have his offices after he leaves the presidency at the headquarters of the World Wildlife Fund. Well, that's where he's coming from. He's coming from that element of population elimination aspect of the British Empire. So there is this thing going on where there is no middle ground anymore. Either they destroy Trump and the incoming Trump administration now, or they're done. They either get a war going with Russia, or they're done. Now, this brings us into the situation that will occur within 5 weeks when Trump is inaugurated, provided that he makes it to the inauguration. And that is, his appointments are indicating a very different orientation than the current administration. This is not the same old, same old. I'm not guaranteeing or saying that Trump will do the right thing, but I'm saying the tenor and character of his appointments is very different. Michael Flynn, National Security Advisor. Michael Flynn and some of Trump's advisors have sat and met with the fourth or fifth leading person of China to have a frank discussion on the future of China relationships privately. This is a private meeting, which was recorded in the Global Times. And what the Chinese say in the Global Times is, look, we don't care what the tweets are coming from Trump. For us, the issue is, will the United States work with China in global development? In other words, can we develop? Can we work with the United States? will the United States participate with us? We're willing to finance the rebuilding of the United States. We're willing to work with the United States to the benefit of the United States and the benefit of the world. Will Trump go with that? We don't know. But that discussion is going on. That discussion was not going on with Obama. Obama was at TPP, the Asia pivot, confrontation, military confrontation with China. The TPP is dead, by the way. Nobody wants it because it's a banker's dictatorship over your country. It's not about economic development. The Asia pivot is dead also. So Trump gives a call to Duterte, according to the discussion between Trump and Duterte, the head of the Philippines. According to what Duterte is saying, is that unlike Obama, who's trying to overthrow Duterte right now with a color revolution through his vice president because of his war on the drug trade, which had just about destroyed the Philippines. Trump, according to Duterte, say, hey, what you're doing is right, keep it up. So that's a huge difference between Obama and the incoming administration. Already, right there. So, what's the issue with the Mexican border? Well, it's not just immigration. It's the drugs. So who's now going to be heading our national security, homeland security? The former head of Southern Command. Who would better know about the drug trade than the head of Southern Command? This is a military person. This is not a civilian. This is not a politician. A military person is being put in charge of Homeland Security. A military person is being put in charge of Michael Flynn of the National Security Agency. A military person is being put in charge of the Secretary of Defense, General Mattis. General Mattis has been on record as being a vehement opponent of the Iraq War. So you have a vehement opponent of all these wars as being nominated as Secretary of Defense. So, how do the British? Well, it's the Russians. The Russians. These are agents of the Russians. Michael Flynn is an agent of Russia. Donald Trump has got business interests in Russia, and on and on and on and on. This is, and now they want to influence the Electoral College vote, which is supposed to occur on the 19th, next Monday, and saying that they need a briefing on something that they don't have any evidence for. This is really going too far. But that's not all. Aleppo has finally been liberated. The people of Aleppo are extremely happy about this. The people of Aleppo are not with the terrorists. How does the media cover it? The fall of Aleppo, not the liberation of Aleppo. Syrian army is going in and wiping out civilians and killing children and babies and all of that. That's not what's happening. The people coming out, because they can now escape from the terrorists, are fleeing the government. The government is bringing them out, giving them a chance to survive. Lies, transparent lies. And while this may be a controlled environment in the United States, outside the United States, everyone can see the lies. And also people on the internet can see the lies. So we have one lie after another lie after another lie. It gets more and more ridiculous and more insane. Just lies after lies after lies after lies. Hysterically. So what's this all about? Well, here's the point. How do empires work? Since empires function on the basis of imposing something on a population and is not based on the general welfare of a nation or the general welfare of the people of all the nations involved, an empire is based upon the interests of a few. So how do you run an empire? How do you get the many to go along with the policies which the many do not like? How do you get them? Well, you keep them backward, you keep them stupid, you keep them uneducated, you keep them, all of that. But what about the people who are not uneducated? What about the people who are knowledgeable? How do you keep them in check? Well, you lie. And then when someone challenges the lie, they get hammered. And then people say, well, I can't tell the truth because I'm going to get hammered. And then this continues on. This is what happened during the Kennedy assassination. They said it was a it was a single gunman that did it, right? And the forensic evidence didn't support that. But who challenged it? Who effectively challenged it? So the lie stood, even though the rest of the Warren Commission report was different than the summary findings of the report. So you had a lie, and another lie, and another lie, and people went along with it, knowing the better people, the more knowledgeable people knew better, but they went along with it. Well, I'm going to have to say it this way, because if I don't, they're going to. And then what they did to Lyndon LaRouche, who was speaking the truth, in the 1980s, they went all out. They did the same thing to LaRouche they're trying to do to Trump. What happened? Well, they call him everything under the sun. You had millions of words spewed out about political extremists, anti-Semite, racist, crackpot, going all out, creating this environment of hysteria in the media about Lyndon LaRouche. And that's essentially what's been applied to anybody who threatened the system, who threatened the control of the system, who came out and said, look, this is reality. Oh, no, there's not 4% unemployment. It's 25% unemployment. It's 20% real unemployment. Right? Or 15% real. No, you're a liar. You're a conspiracy theorist. Or the Saudis were behind 9/11. Were involved in 9/11. That was in the 9/11 Commission report. Oh, no, you're a conspiracy theorist. But that's all breaking down. And now the lies are furious, fast and furious. The lies are fast and furious, and all you have to do is be firm and be truthful, because the empire's biggest enemy is the truth. The control over people is broken when the truth and the reality that everyone knows is stated publicly, right? And it's from there that you begin to have the basis for a different policy. So the question right now is, how will this escalate? Because it's only the beginning. The empire is going down. It's over for them if Russia and the United States begin to work together. So what's the next escalation? This Russian thing is just the current escalation. Where's the next escalation? What claim are they going to make? What false flag operations of terrorist attacks are going to occur to try to control the narrative? That's what assassination attempts are going to be made on Trump. These are the kind of things that you have to look for. Okay, but things are moving very fast towards a realization that humanity isn't going to survive unless we end the policy of empire and begin to have a policy of mutual respect between nations and mutual economic development. And that's where we're headed. And even the worst of the worst are beginning to realize that that's where we have to go, because the alternative is the annihilation of humanity. There's a lot more to this, and next week we'll go into um, uh, what kind of policies the future is going to have, and what policies look like they could become policies that are going to benefit humanity, are going to develop the planet, are going to create the abundance that will lift humanity out of poverty. When we'll be going into that in the next segment.